All right. How's it going, everyone? All right, so Eyal here. As you know, I am a musician and programmer, mostly a programmer in these few years, but dealing most of the things to do with music. Yeah, so you might know me from my music, from my coding streams, from my plugins and music programs, from my company Modalix, from my bands Project RNL or otherwise other bands, other musical projects. Yeah, so today I will continue what I've been doing in the last few streams, which is just work on my little game engine things and learn how to do graphics programming on the way. So this is it. As you all know, I'm streaming this on different platforms, so you can write something in the chat wherever you're watching this: YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn as well. And I would bring up the comment on screen so other people on other networks can see it as well. All right. So how are you doing today? All right. Hopefully audio is working. Hopefully video is working. I'm kind of alternating between playing music on the stream, like playing this, kind of AI music that I use sometimes, or doing something more like, let's see if I can tweak this a little bit. Hey, let's try this. Let me do like this. Let's see the dynamic settings in here. Hopefully it's okay. I don't know. Hey. All right. Mostly I'm going to bring the gain a bit up. All right. Yeah. Really mostly what I'm trying to do is, like, now I'm just trying to see if I can. Now I'm just playing music for myself. I'm playing a great Pat Metheny album called The Way Up. It's awesome. But I can't play it for you, which really sucks. Unless I play like some royalty-free music or some kind of AI-generated music. Anyway, looking good. Let's switch myself over to the little side of the screen. And let me just tweak my little audio levels that I'm hearing. Hopefully your audio levels are okay. I'm hoping. Right. I'm just tweaking a few things here in the settings of the stream, which hopefully would make things a little better. All right. So let's talk about what where I am with this little thing. So where I am is I started to write this higher level wrapper that uses SDL and OpenGL. And that is that this is like a code for like kind of game testing. And that is that the code itself, let's have a look at it. The code itself basically has no awareness of OpenGL or STL. Like it's all abstracted into a higher level thing that doesn't even require to include it. So right now it just draws a bunch of rectangles with gradients. Gradients is the one thing I worked in the previous stream. Yeah, the idea is that the code does something like there's this thing. It creates this thing called the render every frame, which we probably should optimize, but you draw with the renderer into something called a canvas. That's the idea. So when the renderer finishes, you just call draw, and by then and until then, you add stuff like rect. You add shapes, and you can have like a state for something like solid color or a gradient. And we can probably use it to do cool stuff. It's not perfect. It's not as well optimized as it should, but it should allow already, even without me doing a lot. Let's try to do something just fun so that I'll have things on screen. So what could be cool? Let's write something that. Let's start by just something that. Let's think about something fun to do. Yeah, let's write for the maybe just to make this a little bit more engaging. Let's write something where maybe I'll do something that moves a bunch of rectangles on screen, for example. So let's start with that. Let's start with how do we take a rectangle and move it? Okay, so one of the things I can do is so I'm going to start with I think I call this thing something like engine rectangle rect, and the rects would be initialized with something like 0, 0, 0.1, 0.1. These are all relative coordinates basically. Let's start just by drawing this. So the idea is that without everything else, I can just do something like R set color. I think the default color is white, so I can just do that. And then I would do R add rect. And that's really all I have to do to draw a rectangle. I can pretty much get rid of all this stuff for now. Okay, so it draws the rectangle with the dimensions that I asked. I wonder if I can tell it somehow to show up in this window that it's in, because what happens now, whenever I'm opening it, it by default defaults to the other monitor. There's probably a way to do this, but I'm not sure how. Maybe my desktop will allow to do this. Like if I move this. But it is on this desktop, right? So can I tell it to always open with this desktop? I don't know how to do that. Anyway, yeah, so the idea is this works, and let's start doing some animation of sorts. So that we can see things moving on screen. So I'm gonna write something very basic. So let's start with I'll write a function that says move gen rectangle rect. And this I'm going to make this outside of this class. So it's actually going to take different types of rectangles. So I'm just going to create some moving scheme on this. So basically what I'm going to do is let's do something. This is going to be so basic. Let's do something where if rect.x is less than if it's less than 0.9, then rect.x. Oh no, how am I going to, maybe I lose something else. I'll need something else. I need something like a, I need a more stateful class here. Let's do something like struct moving rect. This is all like just like boring stuff. So this is going to have the rectangle in here. And I've done this before. Let's do something like enum class direction, left, right, up. Let's just do left and right. I don't think I need the other directions for now. Yeah, and then just direction equals direction left. Then void update. Let's do something if direction it's left, then rect dot start with right, not left. So if it's right, and rect plus x, I'm gonna have some. Let's do how to offset equals 0.001f. If rect.x is bigger or equals than 1 minus rect.width. No, if it's bigger than 0, then yeah, I think that's correct. Then rect.x equals 1. And direction is equal to the other one. Let's do the other side. This side is just a negative. If it's if x is smaller or equal to 10, make it 10. This needs to be this and not 1. So let's do something like auto max equals this. Max. Equals 0 and go to right. So now I'm going to have a moving rect here instead of the raw rectangle. So update would first do rect update, and then I'm going to set color and add rect.rect. Let's see what this does. There you go. Look at this beautifully moving rectangle. Awesome. Okay, let's make it slower by making it half speed. Very good. Look at this. So nice. Okay, so this works. Now, next up, I want to do this with a bunch of rectangles and maybe also different colors. That could be nice. Let's make it a little slower. So like 2, 5. Okay, that's better. Let's make the rectangle itself smaller. So half the size than it was. Okay. That's good. Now I want to create a bunch of those. So let's have something where I'm going to take the float initial x, float initial y, and then I'll do direct with initial x, initial y. And then when I initialize it, I want to create basically a few of those. So maybe I'll do something like, yeah, so this is going to start with 0, 0 for the sake of it. Let's see if that works. That works. Now let's make more of these. So instead of making this, I would create a std vector. Can I use the EA vector here? Yes, good. So I can use an EA vector of my own moving rects. And I would start with doing something like rects create with 0, 0. Let's create another one with 0 0.1, 0 0.1, 0 0.2, 0 0.2. A few of those, and then for to rects update, and then add stuff to the renderer. Okay, so here we have a bunch of moving stuff. Look at them moving, hitting the wall, and coming back. So beautiful. So beautiful. Okay, that's good. Now, now that I get this, let's make them have different colors, right? So instead of having the color be like this, let's create a random color for each of them. I can even create a different gradient, I think, for each of them. Let's try that. So I can do something like engine gradient. Gradient. And then in the constructor, let's see how can I I did this in the version before. I want to reference my previous version as well. Here you go. This is good. So the idea is, let's call it create random gradient. And since I don't have juice random here, let's remind myself of the correct syntax to do this. So the one thing I want to do is in C++, I'd like to write a random number generator using only the standard. The interface needs to look like struct random holds the stateful random engine, and then float get next returns the next random number between 0 and 1. There you go. So so it's the random with the distribution. That's probably the way to do this. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna take this and then let's do something. Let's put this in the lib because it's going to be useful. Let's create a header called random. Oops. Copy the code. Here you go. And then let's add this here. Could this be const? Probably not, right? Okay, good. Good. Let's remove this stuff. Let's do proper initialization because I can just initialize this over here, right? And I can initialize this over here. And then I don't need this constructor. It's all going to be default. I don't need private variables here. And then I can do something like get global random, because that would help with prototyping stuff. Let's just like get next random number float. Oh, let's make this a namespace. Let's do something like a namespace. It's still going to be in the engine or something. I don't know how. Yeah. So engine. And that would just do something like a static random R. I'm going to need to make this a CVP file because there could be multiple calls to this. So let's call this random. Add this to here. We're going to start switching to Unity builds here pretty soon. Let's include random, have the namespace. Yeah, here, let's make this public private. Let's not make this inline because I would like so that only one of these implementations exists, and this would create a static random and return our get next. This is just a super simple way, hopefully, to get some randomization happening. So that, for example, oh, the other thing I want to do is I want to add a scaling verse to this as well. So I think what I'm also going to do is, because there are many situations where I want this to be in a different distribution, basically, which I've already added. So this, let's do something like get next random number, and let's do, yeah, let's do something like get next in range. This would return get next. This would include math and get next. So I have this as something like math scale get next from 0 to 1. Let's do float min, float max. To min max. And here I can just have an overload. Float min, float max. Also, while I'm here, let's do something like static random get global random. be this, and this would just be return get global random dot get next in range. I can just use get next, honestly, right? But it doesn't use an overload, might be a better interface. Get next min max. Okay, that's good. That's going to be useful. Let's go back to my little animated thingy. Where were you? Here, here, here. That's good. Now, yeah, okay, so the gradient, this is fun. So I did this thing with the gradient where, here it is. So that's probably something I should add to, yeah, because this is actually, like this is actually a function that should go to the library. So this function should do, it's actually a function that says get left to right gradient, and it takes a rectangle, and it takes the const engine color left const engine color right. We're probably going to use other things similar to this, but the idea is that this does this with the left and right colors. And then let's say, you know, so now when I want to create a gradient with these initial colors, you know, I can just do get gradient something like rect red blue, or change it to rect blue red or something. And with this, what I can do and with this, what I can do is I can just create random colors here for random gradients, for example. So I can yeah, so I can do something like so it's going to be something like, you know, engine get next random number. Let's is that going to be okay? Because I can also randomize the alpha, I guess. But let's start with just colors with no alpha. Let's start with them. So autorand equals yeah, so as a shortcut, I can do this. I should define this in place function rand. Let's call it left, right. This is a little better. Okay. Gradient. Oh, but I need, for this to work, I need to update the yeah. So what? Oh, so this is interesting. Okay, so no, this is I can't do that because I need this gradient is actually going to look different. Depends on where the rectangle is. So I need to create this rectangle every time. So what I need to do is I actually so I'm gonna refactor this. It's gonna be something like engine color get random color. Just also simplify this because I can just do this, right? Oh, and use the rand function. Okay, and then I can remove this and then store the colors here. So this would need to be like engine color, left color, return get random color. What am I missing? Or not return, just random color, right? Left color. Yeah. Okay, that's good. And then it's going to be right color. And then I could just gradient, get gradient. And this would return a get left to right gradient from left color, right color. So it's going to be generated once with direct. So it's going to be generated once, and then it's going to be passed into the render with the correct dimensions that would kind of scale this to wherever that is. So then I can just do set gradient and ask for the rect dot get gradient for each of those rects. Let's see what this does. Let's see if I'm in any kind of good direction here. Look at this. Look at these beautiful randomly generated gradients. And let's create more of these. Why do I have all these? Let's have a for loop instead of creating it like this. It says rect. Let's do index equals 0, index smaller than 20 or something. Maybe I'll create them with different random x values. It's going to be fun. So auto x equals engine get next random number from 0 and 0.9, because I don't need to go all the way up, right? 9.5, right? Because that's otherwise going to be off screen. And then y equals float index times 0. 0.1, because it only allow me to have 10 of those. Let's do 10. That's going to be good. And then rects create xy. Let's try that. Now look at this beauty. Look at this beauty. And if I scale the window, it should still be scaled. There's probably, by the way, an SDL bug here on Mac only, where if you see when I resize, it gets frozen. It's a known bug in SDL, which is really stupid. But yeah, so I get gradient. You can see the gradient keeps its formation because I'm doing like this. However, I could decide, here's an example. If instead of passing the rect every time, I would actually pass the full screen. So I can do something like 0, 0, 1, 1. That's basically the full screen. And this is going to be a fun one. You'll see the look at this now. Look at how the color is shifting. It depends on where the rectangle is, because that's how the gradient works. Right? You can see that it gets like this. There's two colors, and it kind of interpolates between them. Okay. So yeah, this is some fun stuff. This is fun stuff. Okay. I want to go back to the other one because I think having the the rectangle keep the same part was making more sense. So this is better. And let's just for the sake of it, let's have random speeds as well. So the current speed is whatever. So let's do something like float speed equals engine get random number between, what is the number now? So something between 1 and higher number. And then the offset is just going to be, I don't need to make it an auto, just going to be the speed. Let's try that. Look at this now. Look at them running in different speeds. Look at this one being really quick, and this one here being pretty quick. Okay, that's pretty good. Now let me, I want to move this function get left right gradient to my gradient class. Let's make a namespace for this, like let's call it gradients. So get left to right 4 takes a rectangle and 2 colors. Move this to the CVP file. Okay, and let's go to my game code, and instead of calling this function, let's do engine. It's like engine gradients. Get left to right 4. Very good. Maybe the last thing I want to do is maybe I'll have this yeah, but this is okay for now. Okay, so let me commit this and say that added random wrapper and a way to get, right, because I added random here as well, right? Yeah, added a basic and a way to get gradients for a moving rectangle. Okay. How's everyone doing so far? How is your day? Okay. I'm thinking maybe I'll take a break now, or maybe I'll continue. I'll take a break for a couple of minutes and come back.